What's up? What's going on? What's good, everybody? That's right, a boxing source checking in, and I want to talk about this news that came from Anthony Joshua, the former two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Of course, he had his bout last week against Jermaine Franklin at the O2 Arena in the UK, where he scored a unanimous decision victory. And immediately after that particular bout, he was saying, "Man, for sure, I'm gonna be back in the summer. I'm gonna be back." Get right back in the ring, go over to Dallas, back to where, his coach there, Derrick James, wants him there to do some work. But looks like those plans to fight in the summer have pretty much been nixed, as he, posted in his Instagram stories that he will not be back in the ring until December. And while he did post that in his Instagram stories, he also posted that it is part of a bigger plan. So that kind of like says, hey, maybe there could be a bigger fight in the works, or something that he's trying to build up to a certain point later on in his career that'll make a fight that'll basically be worthwhile. But maybe there could be something in the works for that particular fight date, or at least that date range in December, because there are a few venues I would say that is opening up in December, particularly a certain venue or a certain location that wouldn't be available until around that time. And he has had a fight in that location before on the month of December. So that does open up potential bouts there for Anthony Joshua. But some people kind of like felt like after his performance against Jermaine Franklin that there might be a good number of things that he needs to work on. So while he would have this fight in December, that it may not end up being a fight that is a kind of like a high profile fight of sorts. So we'll have to see how that goes. But, immediately after his fight against Jermaine Franklin, a lot of people kind of felt like, hey, there's still a few things that he needs to work on. That was his first fight under the tutelage of Derrick James, and that, there's a number of things there in Derrick James's camp that Anthony Joshua will probably need to sharpen up on. So I think, him going back to camp would be one thing, but also another thing would kind of like be to try to have another fight that's, soon. We don't want to necessarily have, these 2 fight a year type of things, especially here at this point, because if it's going to be his next fight in December, that's going to be 8 months, at least 8 months before he would have another fight. And, usually those type of things aren't necessarily good, even if it's a point where you kind of like get to a certain point of your career where you've had a number of tough fights, a number of high profile fights over the course of your career, that you can't necessarily get back up to trying to have another bout, soon after one fight has already taken place. But, here with Anthony Joshua having that post on Instagram that he's not getting back until December, that kind of like halts some progress, I would say, according to some people. Kind of like think that, hey, he should get right back into the ring maybe in like July or August or something like that. If he got back in the ring in like August, after having this fight here in April, it maybe people would have not much of an issue with it. But here with it being in December, I think the quick reaction to that is like, man, that might not be a good thing there for Anthony Joshua. But we'll see what happens with that here in the next coming days and weeks to see if that is solidified as far as like his move is concerned. But for the time being, we'll see what happens. If he's locked down in December, that may bring up a few speculations as to who his next opponent could be. But with that being said, that's what I got on this particular topic. You can share your thoughts in reference to Anthony Joshua not fighting, or saying that he's not fighting until December. Just hit it in the comments, man. Just share what you think about it. We really appreciate it here on the Boxing Source. On that note, I'm out. Peace.